Hello everyone, I am Shweta and welcome to my channel Analytics by Shweta. In today's video, we will be learning 4 functions in Power BI. We would be learning about the first non-blank and the first non-blank value and the differences between these two. Then we would be looking at the last non-blank and then also the last non-blank value. We would further look into the differences between these two as well. Let us go to Power BI to better understand these functions. Let us first look at our data model. We have a simple data model in which we have one dimension table connected to our fact table employee data in a one-to-many relationship. The employee data table has a column called as DOJ, which is the joining date of the employee. This employee data table is the details of all the active employees in our organization. The calendar table has a date column and this date column is connected to the DOJ column in a one-to-many relationship. Let's have a look at the contents of the employee data table. The employee data table is details of all our active employees. So we have details for them like employee code, gender, department, grade, designation, and many more details. Each and every employee has a unique employee code. Let's proceed. If you see, we have pre-created a measure called as head count, which counts the employee code column. Now, as I already said, each and every employee has a unique employee code. This count will give us a distinct count of all the employees. Now, let us look at first non-blank and first non-blank value in action and also see how do they differ. Let us create a new measure. We would be naming it as first non-blank and we would be using the first non-blank function. The first is a column name, so we are giving the calendar date. The second is an expression, so we would be giving the head count measure and we approve this. Let's create another measure. Now let us use first non-blank value and we would be using the first non-blank function and once again we would be giving the calendar date and again we would be giving the head count. If you see, when we have written both these functions, they look exactly the same, but we will look at their differences in a little while. Let's just approve this. Now this is returning us a date, so let us change the format of the date. Now I'm adding 2 card visuals on the report. On the first card visual, I am using this first non-blank which we have created. And on the second card visual, I am using the first non-blank value which I have created. If you look, both of these are returning me a different answer. What is this and why are they showing it as 2 different values? Let me create a table visual so that you can better understand the differences. I would be adding the date in the columns and I would also be adding the head count. If you look at the data now, the earliest hire which we had in our organization was on 4th of January. And on 4th of January, a total of 72 employees are present whose date of joining is 4th of January. So if you see here, when we use first non-blank, we got 4th of January as the answer. And when we used first non-blank value, we got 72 as the answer. So what first non-blank does it evaluates the expression and returns the first value in the column where the expression is not blank. So it is seeing here that the first non-blank value is 72 and it is for 4th of January. So it is returning us this value of the column where the expression is present, the first expression. So 72 is first present on 4th of January. Before this, we don't have any other data points. So it is returning us 4th of January. And first non-blank value returns us where the expression is not blank. So the first value of the expression which is not blank. So if you see, the first value which we have is 72 and it is returning to us 72. So I hope you understood the differences between first non-blank and first non-blank value. As you must have gauged, the last non-blank also behaves in a similar way. Let's have a look at it. Let us create a new measure. Let us name it as last non-blank. And we would be using the last non-blank. We would be giving the calendar date, and once again we would be giving the head count. Let us approve this measure. Let us create a new measure. Let's name it last non-blank value. We would be using the last non-blank value function here. Once again we would be using the calendar date and the head count measure. Now the last non-blank will return us a date, so we'll just format the date. Add to card visuals. On the first card visual, let us add last non-blank. And on the second card visual, let us add last non-blank value. If you see here, once again we are getting a date in last non-blank and we get a number in last non-blank value. Let us create a table visual. Once again, let us add the dates and the head count. Let us expand this. If you look at these values and you scroll down, the last date where we had a hire was 9th of December 2019 and we had a total of 8 employees who are present who have a date of joining as 9th of December 2019. So if you see here, last non-blank returns us 9th December because it is returning the last value in the column where the expression is not blank. So the last value in the column where the expression is not blank is 9th December. And what last non-blank value does is it returns the expression which is not blank. So the expression which is not blank is 8. After 9th of December, where we have a total of 8 employees with date of joining as 9th December, we don't have any further data. So it is returning us 8 in last non-blank value. And in last non-blank, it is returning us the date. So to recap, first non-blank and last non-blank will return the value in the column which is not blank. It can either be the first or the last depending on which function we have used. And the first non-blank value and the last non-blank value will return the expression which is not blank. So these are the basic differences between these functions. I hope you understood this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for more updates. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.